Press up the Citybird SUV.
My goodness, we are witnessing the rewriting of the language of T20 cricket, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad will go down in T20 history as a team significantly responsible for it. The first team in IPL history with 3 250 plus scores, and all in this season. A record score for all men's T20 cricket where data, ball by ball data is available for the power play, 125, 4.6 overs to get to the 100-run mark for the team. And then as we just try and speak a new language on these shows, on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. And I'd like for Tom Moody, Mitchell McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer just to help me out here, because the Sunrisers have got 125 in 6 overs, then slowed down and gone at just over 10 and over for the next 14 to end with 266. That is what the game has become.
I think we're all still learning that new language.
Yes.
40 boundaries in total is double what you would normally consider as a reasonably good number of boundaries to get in a team total, which was 20, but now they're doubling that with 40. 22 sixes in that. Yes, it's a good surface. Yes, it's a small ground, but that is just phenomenal. What we just witnessed there is just incredible freedom and confidence of a team that's playing with not a worry in the world and have been given the absolute license to go out there and have some fun, because that's exactly what it looked like. They're just loving each other's, ball striking, the appreciation you could see in the dugout, the appreciation you could see at the non-strikers end by the batting partner. It was one big party for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah, a party aided by some pretty poor tactics at the top as well. So you've got to say, yep, great batting, it really was. But when you set up to Travis Head's go zones in the first over, that just creates momentum in the power play, and it just didn't stop.
It should stop at some point sooner, though. I mean, now I'm almost beginning to think that the whole thing of teams are not bowling well. It's almost become redundant. Now it doesn't matter where they bowl. This is extraordinary. 250 plus scores. How much of this is down to what you still think is teams just not understanding how to bowl? But Tom's right. This is a team that's now just rubbing off each other's energy, playing with zero fear of failure, Wasim, as batters.
It's all because it's coming off, I would say. When it doesn't come off, I'm sure all the other teams want to play like that as well, but sometimes it just doesn't come off. And playing on good pitches as well helps. Sometimes when you're playing on pitches that have a little bit of help, then you found yourself struggling.
Which is a really good point, because that actually astounds me that RCB and now Delhi have put out 2 very, very good wickets that have got no stop in the wicket and really suit one-pace hitters. And that's from the last couple of results. That's what you can see. When you set up a flat wicket on a small ground against a one-pace hitting lineup, you're always going to get that result.
Is there something, this is staggering, right? Because there are so many elements to how to get 266, but surely there is an appreciation here of knowing what the risk is of playing this way, which perhaps was exposed today when 4 of your big guns are out inside 10 overs, Tom, and yet you have uncapped Indian batters who have taken you to what is more than a respectable score. It's 260. I'm saying more than a respectable score.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to remove the word risk, because I don't think that is in the conversation when Sunrisers are talking about the brand of cricket they want to play. It's not a risk brand. They don't see it as risky. They just go out there to take the game on. And, if they started to consider words like risk, they would stumble and fall on their nose. So that's one of the reasons they are playing with the consistent success that they are with the bat in hand, is because, they're not worried about the what if, which is the worst thing a player can worry about, is what if I don't clear the man on the boundary? What if I don't clear the inner ring? What if I get out in the power play? That's not even in the conversation.
The wording's changing now, isn't it? It's turning to, and you'll start to hear it more and more. A lot of players, when they go to press conferences, they'll repeat the line, we're looking to take the positive option. So you're taking out anything negative, you're always looking to be positive. So when you have that positive option, you will take that positive option with a positive mindset, there's more chances of you being successful.
Yeah, but I guess it's sometimes you don't have the entire batting order almost buy into it. This is something unique that we're seeing. If I remember, Wasim, when Liam Livingstone first came to Punjab, he showed us glimpses of something similar. Punjab were playing this high, let's not call it risk, let's say extremely aggressive style of play early.
Energetic,
Yeah. Full of intent, whatever you want to choose. And then even if you lose your big guns at the 10-12 over mark, you limp your way to 200. And you still end up with 200. But it's going hard first and not worrying about later. The other way around of how T20 cricket was played for very many years. But you don't always get every batter buying in. Have they managed to find the personnel to buy in to that? They took calls to drop Mayank and Tripathi. And I'm not saying they can't play this way. But they certainly seem to have found guys who fit the design.
I think they're willing to accept that they will fail at times. And they'll have odd games where they'll probably get out to 140, 160, and they're willing to lose those games. But there will be more days like this, and that's the beauty about it, having this kind of approach.
I was just going to say, they've also got the personnel that's suited to that brand of cricket.
Right.
You can't ask players that have, more of a conservative profile from a playing perspective to be playing like Travis Head or Abhishek Sharma. Abhishek Sharma's got that in his DNA. He has always been like that. So he's walked into this season with an absolute, open door, knowing that my partner's doing this. This is how I love to play, and I do this for Punjab, week in, week out. I can now express myself without the worry of the consequence. I can, I'm totally freed up. And it helps, obviously, that the other end are going. And he's the only one Indian domestic player in that top 5.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they've got 4 or 5 players like that who plays this brand of cricket. Abhishek, Thomas said, Head plays like that. You've got Klaasen, you've got Abdul Samad, who plays like that as well. So it's only Markram who probably have to, buy into that. So it's not a big deal to do that.
To wrap that up, I guess the positive thing about that is that they had a significant contribution from the lower order today.
Yes, they did.
Tesh Reddy, Shabazz.
They had to play a slightly different role.
Yeah, but exactly, but they still went at a good clip. And then even Samad, who was a quick, brisk, but they're making contributions, and that will also take the pressure off the top order. They can continue to go like that because they know if they fail, that these guys are going to mop up the mess at the end.
Yeah, if anything, this makes Sunrisers even more dangerous today.
More dangerous.
Don't they? Like you thought you have a sniff in if you get all of them out.
Yeah.
And then if you can, what if they were dismissed today 190 all out? Or say 200 all out? And then suddenly they might have second thoughts. But the innings Shabazz Ahmed played, Nitish Reddy, the partnership does wonders, I'm guessing, for this team.
Of course it does. It does wonders for them, and it does wonders for the confidence of the top order, knowing that we are doing the right thing and we have got total trust in our batting order, because everyone can contribute and play the brand that we're all buying into.
If only it was the England team playing this way, then we would have coined it Dan Ball, or given the credit to the coach. Shall we still call it that? Our good friend Dan Vittori, friend of the show, and one of the many successors to Tom Moody at the Sunrisers head coach.
We call it Dan Ball,
Dan Ball?
Or,
No?
I might have to think on it. Dan Ball's a bit bland, isn't it? We need to sort of jazz it up a bit for
Jazz it up. Jazz ball. No.
I think it's more Cummins effect.
Pat ball.
Yeah, pat ball, I would say.
Oh, okay. All right. On that note, Kuldeep Yadav, standout bowler, 4 for 55. That is the standout bowler. Again, we rewrite the language and try and learn it. The importance of a wrist spinner, something RCB didn't have, and we spoke of it. And therefore, they could restrict Sunrisers to, 280? So they couldn't restrict Sunrisers, they got 280. Ray Delhi have a wrist spinner, so they've restricted Sunrisers to 266. Tom.
Yeah, look, I don't know if that's a serious question or not, but I think what it does prove is that if you've got a wrist spinner that can turn it both ways, you've got a chance in that type of world.
I think the actually the best bowler tonight was Akshar Patel.
Yeah.
That big wicket of class, and he actually started that collapse at the top, or kept it going once those two openers were out. So I think that he bowled exceptionally well on small boundaries.
What about Rishabh Pant here and just the use of his bowlers? Lalit Yadav getting 2 overs at the top. I mean, it's tough But could they have done more? Mitch has already pointed out the bowling wasn't great early on. What could Delhi have
Yeah,
done?
we were surprised just after the pre-show. The way Khalil started bowling short to him, we discussed in the pre-show that you needed to pitch the ball up, allow the ball to swing, and they just played in his hand, Travis Head's hand, bowling short and giving him that start which he wanted. And then obviously the pitch was so good, Lalit Yadav didn't had any help, and it was just hitting and picking up from the length. So I thought they started very badly, and it just didn't stop after that.
It's not just any off spinner, right? You need a good off spinner if you want to bowl two left-handers. And your boy Tristan Stubbs, excellent off spinner that he is.
Oh, exactly. Should have been used. No, look, hey, it's one of those things. You've got to do your planning when guys are so dangerous. And you saw Travis Head was just sitting back on the off spin. He actually bowled some good balls.
Yeah.
Those balls which he popped over mid-wicket were actually a good length ball to any other batter who was looking to come forward. But Travis Head was sitting back, and we saw in that over, as soon as he got fuller on the leg stump, Travis Head didn't have his arms, and he wasn't able to play those big shots. So again, I just think those first couple of overs, there was just a clear lack of planning, and then once it goes from there, Travis Head is away. He's away, and he's hard to stop.
All right. Well, Tristan Stubbs, the batter, will be called in for if Delhi are to get anywhere near this. Remember, RCB got 260. Every game Sunrisers have scored these enormous scores. They've conceded over 200 as well. They've still won, but their bowling, we have expressed on the show before, is not one necessarily that's going to blow away opposition for 100 plus. As we just look at where they stand in terms of ranks, you could see they're closer to bottom as a bowling unit. They have had to face the effects of what we've established are some very good batting surfaces themselves as a bowling unit, the Sunrisers Hyderabad. They brought in Washington Sundar as the impact sub. He will start to the returning David Warner. And just as we try and even imagine, if we could see something like we saw the Chinnaswamy, where RCB got 262 and lost, and now the top 5 scores ever in the IPL are all from this season, including that RCB 262. The outrageous nature of the season is also matched by something that the panel's picking on their outrageous picks on the pre-show. As we just revisited, you guys were not far off, right? Abhishek out for less than 10 balls. Well, he nearly played.
He got 10 balls. That was right.
Balls. Yeah, less than.
No,
10
I
balls.
said 10 or less.
10 or less. Yeah, but
so I got that.
46 of 12.
Oh, he got 12. I thought he faced 10 balls.
He was a bit slow, Tom. He went at 383.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't far off.
Yeah. Wasim, Klassen to get less than 12 runs.
He got 15.
Yes, he got 15. Mitch McClenaghan had to score a century.
Yeah, by far the most outrageous of those picks.
Yeah, the good thing in all this is that all your closeness cancels out, so no one's too disappointed. You would have been challenging it had one of them got it right. I just know you
disappointed.
Yeah.
He's still disappointed.
And we still have first inning scores that were very close. Wasim went 250, I think.
240.
240. Somebody went 250.
I went 252.
I went 275, didn't I?
Now you're not going to lowball anymore. You're not lowballing it anymore like you did in the first.
Beg your pardon?
Let's look ahead. Are we even remotely going to see the chance of the Delhi Capitals coming close to this? Let's get a prediction. Tom Moody. They started with a couple of boundaries.
No, I don't see Delhi winning this, but I'd like to see them get close. But it's going to rely on something very special. Something like obviously a great start, but someone like Stubbs coming out and playing a bit like Dinesh Karthik did for RCB and getting an 80 off next to nothing.
Prithvi Shaw has been impacted in, so Jake Fraser goes back down. I wonder if there was any chance he could have still batted at the top.
There should have been a chance. But I mean, Davey Warner, he's forced to come out and go whoosh from ball one, so, expect some fireworks. I would have liked to see Fraser, as Tom alluded to, get as many balls in the power play as possible, but what we've seen is that this wicket is actually good enough for you to consistently hit sixes outside the power play with how small the boundaries are. So maybe it's not going to make that much of a difference.
We saw Washi come on. There were a few balls that my eyes deceived me that perhaps held a little towards the end of that innings, or are we still going to see this? Rishabh Pant's pointed out, are we going to see this as surface that will be even better for batting?
I think it will get better. You might see a little bit of dew, so it should get a little bit difficult for the bowlers, provided Delhi keeps the chase going with that run rate, but it's going to be hard for them.
Right. In this conversation, they've already lost Prithvi Shaw, but he has finished 16 of 5. Right. Outrageous picks.
I think they'll get more than 250.
I think they'll get less than 175.
Ooh.
210.
Okay. 210.
What exactly? The number.
210.
Yeah,
Will,
so
will
they're gonna
Hyderabad
get
win by
210.
210? Are you saying, Wasim? Hyderabad to win by 210?
No.
Oh, Delhi will get 210.
210.
Okay, let's just make sure. Funny part is that points table doesn't really have a very strong net run rate for Hyderabad because every time they score 270, 280, they're still conceding 220, 250. Maybe today's the day. And it will make for a fascinating halftime chat on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Do download the mobile app as we look at where Delhi finish up on what is a day for records being shattered already. And who knows, maybe Delhi have yet to add to that in some form or the other. Look forward to your company at the end of the game.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.